Hi everyone, my name's Kelly Day and I'm here to show you a video about how differentiation can be made simple with Hapara Workspace. So in today's classroom, it's very rarely that one size will fit all for your students. For students all to be able to learn, we need to think about how we can target our teaching. And this can be done through a number of ways in the process, the content being taught, and the product that students present their understanding through. To actually achieve all of this in the classroom, it can be really difficult and time consuming, particularly if you need to take students out one or two at a time to speak to them about what is expected for them so that they can access the learning. Also, for some of those students, if it's for an ability reason, it can also be quite confronting and can make students feel uncomfortable if they're drawn out all the time to be taught something different. So Hapara Workspace can help you make the most out of a teacher's limited time by setting it up so that all learners can be catered for. Individual students don't need to wait for teacher instruction. They can jump straight online and access the content that's appropriate for them, and they can do this independently. It allows the teacher to be able to move around the classroom and target the needs of those students in the differentiated way. So let's see what this looks like in action. This is a Hapara workspace that's been set up to demonstrate some of the different ways you can differentiate for your learners. The first real thing to have a look at is your students and groups. Groups can be created really easily. All you need to do is press create a new group. You give your group a name, design it as you like, and then you can press done. To add students to groups, it's really simple. All you need to do is drag them across into the group that you want to and drop them in. They can be added to more than one group depending on the needs of your particular teaching. So if we come back out to the workspace, we've now got, we can add resources, evidence, and rubrics if you so choose. So today, if you had some particular content resources that you wanted students to learn, and the process for which they were learning was different. Some students may learn well by watching something, others may find that reading is something better for them. So you can add resources to suit individual kinds of students. So the first thing we're going to do is to add some resources. We're going to be teaching multiplication here, and I'm going to look at the box method for multiplication. All I need to do is simply add a link to a video, and it'll be available in the workspace. I want this to be available to all students. I may find that some students really need to be able to read the information to internalize it. So I could also add a resource, another resource for instructions. And I'm going to add a file from Google Drive to be able to show how to do multiplication. I'm going to select that, but I don't want all groups to access that particular resource. I'm just going to set that one for group one. So they'll be the only people that are able to see that particular resource. So at the moment we've got some content that's individualized for different students. Now, students are also able to access the content in different ways depending on the needs of particular students. So I'm going to come across here and add some evidence. This is a way for students to demonstrate some of the learning as it's taking place. I want these particular students to work on a particular set of tasks that's been individualized for them. So this is going to be multiplication problems. And I'm going to add another file that I want just a particular group of students to be able to work through. I'm going to select that file, and I want students to work independently on this particular class, in this particular set of problems. So I want each learner to get their own copy. But again, I don't want all groups to access this. I just want the students in group 3 to access this particular document. And I can go ahead and save that. Another group of students, I would really prefer to be working as a group. So again, I can add some evidence. And I want this to be a reflective task. So once again, this one I'd like them to work together as a collaborative task. So the process here is going to be slightly differentiated. So I'm going to give a group a copy of this one, and I want all groups to access this reflective task. In that particular task, they'll be expected to work together. So again, the process has been changed. Finally, the last way students are able to differentiate their learning is to be able to show their learning in different ways. Not all students are comfortable demonstrating their understanding the same way. And this could be it could be a doc or a slide. They might have created a video to show their understanding. And this allows students to differentiate the way they themselves express their learning. A student view of Workspace is slightly different as they only see what's relevant to them, the particular groups they've been added to, any resources they might need, and any tasks they're expected to work through. Once they work through the workspace, they can also add their understanding by adding their own evidence to the evidence column by pressing the plus button. They can then put in their work that they've worked through, and this person's going to upload a particular file from their drive. Once they've done that, they just press done, and that evidence will be available for you to assess in the original workspace. On completion of this master workspace, you can see there's a lot of differentiation being built in. Students have been placed in groups. Their resources have been varied so that the different students will be able to access the learning that suits them best, whether it's a video, whether it's written text or something else. Evidence will be set up in such ways that it could be for individual students or in groups. Different content can be also applied to different groups as well. And don't forget, students can also add their own evidence to show their understanding. In summary, Hapara helps you make the learning relevant for all. The content, process and product can be easily differentiated, and students are only made available the things that they really need. This gives them an independence to access their own learning. Hapara will help by allowing you to group students depending on their needs, and they can be in more than one group. Only the content that is relevant to them will be assigned, and they can be given a range of ways to work through the material. Finally, by allowing student voice in how they choose to show their understanding, students are given freedom to learn in a way that best suits them. So good luck building your differentiated workspaces with Hapara.